Oh, it's
So,
your turn.
okay, if I take this thing off and I really stress it, you see it goes yellow, which is stressed. If I stop it, it goes back to green. And then if I turn it, if I simulate my heart stopping, it goes back to red. So, okay, it works. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And the bracelet, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to speak a little bit about some of the applications.
Let me do this. This is a bracelet, RFID, very simple.
Set it and
That's
forget it.
Set it, forget it. It's cut. Doesn't work anymore. So that switches on the technology and cuts it off. Wasn't that easy?
So we're like an improv technology group. So as I was describing before, there's sort of a false dichotomy I'll create, let's say, between applications where you would purposefully visibly want it to show you, let's say, your emotional states. Like, for example, and this is an area where Lee and I will be working very heavily, drug dogs. Drug dog, after a while, its batteries are dead. You need to send it to the incinerator, get a new dog. You have a little collar on it, red, yellow, green. Your dog's battery's dead. Time to put a new dog in. And again, that's a very simple, very kind of banal. Anyone can understand that application. Miners, again, miner's battery's dead. Send them to the pits, get a new one. Again, you want to know what it is. You want to visibly see it. Now, in covert actions, obviously we're talking about Navy SEALs. We're talking about redundant systems for soldiers, where again they're using wireless communications ranging from Bluetooth all the way up to Link 16. But you need to have something that's redundant to that. And that's, again, why we believe very strongly in optical communication. Because if you've got a field of soldiers, you have specially rigged binoculars that can actually just quickly survey territory and say, okay, that dude, he's busy, that one's doing nothing, and that one's dead. It enables you to very quickly make some very crude assessments. And let's be honest, the people who need it are not necessarily looking for more refined answers than that. Whereas my current applications, my own company's applications, are about very refined decisions and decision trees about human emotional states, where Lee and I see a huge area of opportunity is in those life and death zones. And that's where we feel that smart fabric or kind of bio-enhanced fabric, that's where it's really meaningful. It's hard to quantify the meaning as far as early adapters and stuff, but I can tell you that there's a strong value for drug dogs. They have to wear collars anyway. Galvanic skin response is the only way to measure when they're tired and when they're in pain. So it's an area where our technology has a very clear purpose. Same thing is true with our technology as far as just doing a simple wristwatch with the technology embedded in it. In other words, we have a wristband. There's no reason why that band can't communicate something optically. There's no reason why our timepiece, our interface could also communicate optically. And again, this gets back to the critical issue that I think really isn't discussed enough in this conference, which is operator acceptance. There are so few things that people are willing to wear, and no one wants to feel like they're attached to a dialysis machine, if they're healthy. So especially if you're talking about athletes or soldiers or anyone under the age of 90, you really have to think in terms of what piece of real estate on the body is available to me. People wear wristwatches. My company is dedicated to the wrist, although it's the nastiest place to get data. I mean, you got hair, you got sweat, you got relative movement as opposed to the rest of the body that you've got to be able to model and make sense of. But it's where we feel that people are willing to accept it, so we have to work around that. But what that means in the case of a soldier, it means that, okay, sure, our watch can communicate through GSM or Zigbee or Wi-Fi or whatever, but it also means that now we can, in a moment's notice, just by looking at him, in a covert way, know that this guy has extreme electrolyte loss. He hasn't, had enough to drink. He's fatigued. This is not a guy in 100%. So again, miners, soldiers, dogs, again, places where human life has very narrow, I won't say low value, but very narrow value. That's where we see the future for this technology.